Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. It's day 2, Staten Island. Keith has got me working on my own now. So, first car of the day, 2006 Hyundai Sonata. Customer complaint is, it starts up fine, and once it warms up, the RPMs just go through the roof, like 3,000 RPM. It's almost like unintended acceleration. It doesn't matter what gear it's in. So let's try to make it act up and see what's going on here. Got the Varus fired up. It's been working overtime here. Again, sunshine today. You're gonna have to deal with the glare. But here's the laundry list of codes. Oh man, it is pretty terrible. All right, we got some shift solenoid codes. This is in the engine category. Torque converter, pressure control solenoid. And this one right here, P0552, power steering pressure sensor switch circuit low input. So that right there is definitely an input for idle speed. Okay, so the 552, I think that's the one we'll be most concerned about. I'm not sure about all these transmission codes. So let's pull up some data, see what this 552 is all about, see if that that switch circuit is indeed low all the time. So I'm going to back out of here. Let's just for kicks, let's just check the troubleshooter. Code tips 0555. Vehicle speed, idle, auxiliary inputs. 552, right? Well, I guess they don't have it in the troubleshooter. Yeah, right there. So we're just gonna have to take it from scratch. Let's pull up some data. Alright, there's our data list. Engine state idle, TPS, target. Well, let's customize this. There's a lot of available data. So deselect all, let's go RPM, target RPM, that's very important. Engine state, let's do TPS, percent, accelerator pedal percents. It does have an electronic throttle body, obviously. Don't care about O2s for now, or fuel trims. Adaptation main relay, cooling fan, AC switch, AC pressure switch. So I'm not seeing the power steering pressure switch unless I'm missing it. Oh, there it is. Sweet. Power steering pressure. Perfect. So list view. Target RPM is 1487 right now. So let's start her up. Should hold something over the screen here. So I'm going to turn the steering wheel and see if that. So power steering pressure percent is not doing anything. So that is indeed an issue. So I'm going to push the gas a little bit. It seems to respond fine. So when I'm pushing the gas, that you see that data pit changes off and on. It looks like our throttle position and accelerator pedal position sensors are fine. So I'll get you a shot once it starts acting up, hopefully. Just doing a little research while the car's warming up. In the Varus and the component test meter, they actually had info on the power steering pressure sensor. And it says it converts the power steering load into a voltage and sends it to the ECM PCM. It is a 3-pin 5-volt sensor, ground signal wire in the middle, and a 5-volt supply. It's located right on the power steering pump near the pulley, or on the high pressure line rather. And there's some notes here. Try shaking sensor, see if it affects engine operation. So possible looseness in the pin fitment. So far so good. Putting gear. Hopefully it doesn't drive through the fence over there. Seems to be running pretty decent. Just doing a visual inspection on this power steering pressure sensor. There it is, right on the line, and it was unplugged. And there has been some wiring redone here, electrical tape. So someone's been here before, someone messed with it. I don't know why this is all redone. I don't know, maybe you should do some quick voltage checks at the sensor while we're waiting for this thing to act up. So someone probably already read the code and was messing with this thing. Doing a couple quick voltage checks. We're checking the sensor ground, test light connected to battery positive. Touch it on the pin. That's good ground. We have 80 millivolts, no big deal. Let's check the 5-volt reference wire here. Let's see, we'll do this one-handed. There's our 5-volt reference, nothing wrong with that. Check our signal. 60 millivolts. We can try to pull it up with our test light and see if the computer, reacts. 14.3. So let's see on the scanner if our power steering data PID changes. If I leave the test light just laying on here, so you can drive it high. See, power steering, yep, 100%. So that does change. I don't know why they left the power steering switch unplugged. Maybe we should plug it in. I don't know. Seems to be running fine right now. I'm gonna plug it in. So let's see, percent. So if I turn the steering wheel, see, that doesn't seem to be changing at all. So maybe the pressure sensor itself is bad and they tried to fix the wiring and that wasn't the issue. But that shouldn't make it high, idle like crazy high or unintended acceleration wise. So I might have to take it for a spin. Alright guys, we're gonna attempt something maybe not quite safe, but we're gonna take it around the block. So it's idling fine right now, neutral. Watch out for traffic here. Put it in drive. It really, really, really wants to go, huh? So I'm not touching the gas pedal. Let's see what happens. It is accelerating. It's not. So put it back in neutral. Alright. Back in drive. Oh, so really jerky. I'm on the gas now. Slowing down. So this is a little too fast. I'm on the brake. We're just going 20 miles an hour here. So see, engine stay idle right now. It says off. And it should be on. In neutral, it's on. Put in gear, it jerks pretty hard. Okay, so this is a problem. Power steering. See our power steering pressure switch? That's at 0 right now. That's not good. Everything else seems to be okay. We're accelerating. See, it says engine stay idle off. Oof, jerk. So when I stop in gear, the engine idle state switches to on. If we let off the brake, it's off. So I'm worried about the power steering pressure switch still because we lost it again. Okay, now it's back. I'm turning this hardcore. It's really struggling. That sound is terrible. And the brakes on this thing aren't the best. Power steering switch is back on. Really wants to go really jerky shifts. You put in neutral, idle's fine. Doesn't, go out of control. You put in gear, really jerky shift, and it's really pulling right now. Really pulling right now. See the throttle position? It goes from 2% to like 10%. Boom. Alright, so we have some direction. I don't know if the power steering pressure switch is to blame here. It was dropping out. Our percent. Oh man, that's a really harsh shift. I can see why it was setting transmission codes. Let's try to pull it in here real carefully. Wow, it actually squealed the tires a little bit when I shifted it in gear. Alright, let's see what we can find. So the only code we see right now is this P0552. So there is something wrong with the pressure switch apparently. So let's scope it, see if it's dropping out on its own. And perhaps it's putting into a limp home mode or whatever with this code in memory. We could also reset the code and see if while the switch is working, if we have this issue. So let's try that again. See, clear codes. Yep. Okay, continue. Make sure we don't have any codes. Should probably turn the key off and on just to reset the computer here. No codes present. Okay. So shut the car off. Start it back up. Starts fine. Let's go to our data. Engine data. Okay, power steering pressure switch works. I'm going to put in gear. Ah, it dropped out. 10% throttle position. So I think we probably set the code again. Let's see. Codes. I want it to work for a while and see if it, no, there it is again. So I just talked to the garage owner here and he said that they did change this switch out. So let's back probe it and see if our voltage is actually dropping out. This pressure sensor, here's the raw data right now. We have a 1 second screen. I'm turning the steering wheel. 2.5 volts. Seems to work. Put it in gear. This terrible rattling sound, I don't know what that's all about. It's like really laboring. So it seems to work fine right now. We'll go back to our scanner. See, our percent PID is operational right now. Put in gear. Whoa. Really jerked hardcore. So again, let's try resetting the codes and seeing if the problem goes away temporarily. Alright, look at our throttle position here and power steering switch. It seems to be operational right now. Okay, I'm going to put it in gear. Holy crap. I just jerked hardcore. We're at 10% throttle position again. Whew. It really revs up pretty hard in gear. I do not like that. Really hard shift. Okay. Let's just make sure our signal is still good. See, it's jumping around right there. I'm turning the steering wheel and nothing's happening now. Well, let's see, stop, record. Okay, seems to be okay. Let's check for codes again. No codes. And with no codes, it'll still be put in gear. Boom. Very, very weird. Alright guys, so where are we at this point? The car's still acting up even when the power steering switch is operational. I'm not too worried about that anymore. The fact of the matter is, it idles beautifully, you know, neutral park, it's fine. When you put in gear, there's a really harsh shift, like, and it lurches forward, and it, you know, it tries to maintain the idle speed, but it's almost like, I don't know, the torque converter is constantly locked up, or it really labors. There's like this really hard, you know, rattling sound. Like the transmission is almost, it wants to go. It's the torque converter is not slipping when it's supposed to, you know, when you're just standing. So let's go to the transmission menu, see if we have any codes in there. Now, we did have all those shift solenoid, you know, codes initially in here. That is a clue. And I want to see, you know, look at the data on the transmission. It seems like it's a transmission issue, not an engine issue. That's why it's always accelerating. The torque converter is just locked up. It's not slipping, or at least not enough. So that's where we're at. This is a good one. So no codes in the transmission, and I did check the fluid level. It was spot on, it was fine, it was clean. So let's look at data here. Alright, this is cool. We have a whole bunch of data for the transmission. I'm going to start it up. So we have our input shaft, output shaft. Okay, vehicle speed, RPM, damper clutch slip. All these solenoids either 100%, shift position. Here's engine torque. So let me put it in gear. It's laboring again. Engine torque is at 57. Put it in drive. See, it says shift position 2. Terrible sound. It's really, really laboring. Ah, right there. Input shaft. You see that? Dropping out. Nice. Think we found the problem here. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm too excited. So I'm gonna put it in gear again. Boom. How is the input shaft? I don't like that right there. Isn't it supposed to be turning? Can I trust this sensor? I think we can. Yeah, rev it up. So basically what's supposed to be going on is when you put it in gear, that input shaft RPM should match engine RPM. But in this case, it's really laboring. I don't think you can turn that input shaft, and we're having like issues. Let's see what solenoids turn on and off here. So this is good information here in the troubleshooter. Symptoms and tips. Let's say it stalls when put in gear, because it's about to. If no code, suspect possible damper clutch, torque converter lockup due to restricted oil cooler, stuck damper clutch control valve. Other possible causes are oil leak at damper clutch control or oil circuit. When TCC is not locked up, this percent should be 0. Slip should be 20 to 800. Okay. So when I put in gear, restricted cooler flow may cause torque converter to drag at idle. Trans cooler is not plugged. That is great information. So I'm suspecting torque converter drag at idle. That's exactly what it sounds like. All right, guys. Just to recap, I talked to the shop owner, and my diagnosis is it's an internal transmission problem. Now, looking at the various troubleshooter, again, you saw the tips that it could be the torque converter, staying locked up because of either a plugged oil cooler in the radiator, or it could be as simple as a stuck solenoid. Mechanically, electrically, it's fine. So he said he'll do the cooler test. He'll just bypass it with a hose. If that doesn't work, it's getting a used transmission. Easy as that. So thanks a lot for watching. Let's move on to the next one. Alright guys, this is car number, I lost count already, number 10 for today. It is well, I'll let you read, 1963 Volkswagen. Bought in 67. Was up in the Adirondacks, that's cool. 72. Key was turned for the last time, so only 10 years on the road. Sat in the cabin for 42 years. Then they started it in 2013. Pretty simple. And then they shut it off. So I'm doing a crank no start on this. Let's see where it goes. No, I'm just kidding. That was some bonus footage, but I think it's a wicked cool van. And I think sooner or later the MPV is gonna look like this. I'm missing some rocker panels. Look under here. Got our oil pan with cooling fins. So you put you start a fire under here in the winter, let the oil warm up, and then crank it. Awesome.